This is my $100 Les Paul copy. It's called a Blue Rock, Chinese. It's got designed by Lace pickups. Cost me $109. They're regularly $160, but the store was closing out, so I bought it just for a laugh. And it actually sounds pretty good, and it plays nicely. The neck is about as wide as a Gibson neck, but it's not as deep as I find most of them lately. And so it's a little bit more comfortable for me as a Strat player. But I thought I'd like to experiment with it and fool around, because for $109, really don't expect much out of it. But I was very pleasantly surprised. I'll probably change out the tuners at some point, just so they're a little bit more stable, a little bit more solid. But other than that, experimenting with the electronics is what I actually bought this for. I am going to upgrade all the pots and stuff. They're the very small pots. The switch is nothing to write home about, although probably good enough for the time being. But it's mostly the pickups I want to play with. So what we're going to do now, I've bought a couple of magnets for humbuckers. These humbuckers have ceramic magnets, so a little bit brighter, a little bit more strident sound. Great if you're doing high gain. But for the bluesier style that I'm looking for something with a little bit more meaty sound that plays nicely clean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap out the magnets in these, and we're going to see. So I've got a Alnico 5 magnet as well as an Alnico 2 magnet, and we'll try each one and see what they sound like. So I'm going to point the mic more at the little amp that I've got. It's a little Marshall solid state thing. It's not a bad little amp. It sounds better than a lot of the small ones. As I said, I'm more interested in the clean sound. The overdrive sound on this thing isn't great, but the clean sound is quite nice. So I'm going to play around with that for a bit, and then we'll swap out the magnets and see how it sounds. So I don't know if that's going to really change the sound. I do have an external mic that is now pointed towards the amp, and I'm going to leave it right where it is. Everything's set up all the same. We'll swap out the magnets and see what happens. So that's the neck pickup. There's a treble pickup, range pickup. So we'll see how that does. With the taking the cover off. See, this one now has no cover, and this one still does. What happened was I was trying to use a technique what I saw online where you heated up the solder joint on the cover and you slip a razor blade in. I could not get that solder to melt for anything. I even tried putting on a little bit more solder to see if I could get it to conduct and take it out. All I did was add solder and it wouldn't go anywhere. What it did do was heat up the pickup and melted all the wax that was in there from the potting. Hopefully I haven't done anything too bad. It sounds okay. It's still working. I did figure out how to get the magnet in out. I've got the ceramic magnet in there, but I wanted to see how it sounded without the cover on it, because that does change the tone if it's not a super high quality cover. now. I'll be back in a minute with the new magnet. Here we are with the Alnico 5 magnet. Try switching up the magnets in the neck. Last chunk was with the ceramic magnet on the neck pickup, the rhythm pickup. Now let's try with the Alnico 5, which I've got in there now. Okay, so what did I choose to do? Well, what I did was put the Alnico 5 in that pickup and the Alnico 2 in that pickup. Now what I found myself was that the ceramic was actually pretty good and really good in high gain type situations, but I don't play a lot of high gain stuff. I do a lot of clean and I do slightly crunchy. So I think that the Alnico 5 will be a really good lead bridge pickup magnet. I'm actually a little surprised because when I first thought of doing this, I thought I'd be actually putting the Alnico 2 in the bridge pickup, the lead pickup, just to get a little bit warmer sound down there. But I found I really liked the clarity on that pickup, whereas on the neck pickup, the rhythm pickup on Les Paul style guitars, I found I liked that kind of woody, natural, organic sound that the Alnico 2 was getting. Now, I don't know if any of that is coming across on YouTube, and I also know that there could be some confirmation bias there, that I was expecting certain sounds. I actually expected to do the Alnico 5 on the neck pickup and Alnico 2 on the bridge. So I don't know if confirmation bias is really a factor there, but you know, it is true that people can tend to hear what they want to hear when they're testing out stuff like this. That does happen. But I also like to believe that if we keep an open mind, we are not so trapped by our own prejudices that we can't, if we know what to listen for, we can't find the best versions of those things. It's just my belief. Some people can really hear the difference and some people can't. It's a matter of knowing what to listen for. And of course, as I just said, part of this is the fact that it's going to be on YouTube and compressed, and so there may not be any value in this video in the end. I fully realize that. But for what it is, this was an experiment just to see how the different magnets would sound on this guitar. One more try with this guitar. Here's the bridge pickup. Here's the neck pickup. So let's do a little bit of, well, it's not really high gain.